A busy day for Meta, the social media giant, announcing a new AI effort focused on compute to scale its infrastructure. And it's named longtime banker and former Trump administration official Dina Powell-McCormick as vice chair. All this as the company leans into AI. Its efforts on Reality Labs are taking a back seat and reportedly coming with job cuts. That's according to the New York Times, that Meta will cut about 10% of employees within that division. Joining me now is Brent Thill, Jefferies senior analyst. Brent, Meta is one of your top picks for 2026. What do you make of all these announcements just out today?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to digest. I think the big one that everyone's worried about is the Meta Compute Initiative, which Mark Zuckerberg said it will be measured in the tens of thousands of gigawatts, or tens of gigawatts, upwards of hundreds of thousands of gigawatts. And when you measure a gigawatt to build out, it could be upwards of 40 billion. So just, to get to tens of gigawatts by the end of the decade is like a $400 billion investment per our math. And they're going to spend about $100 billion in CapEx in the next year. So I think everyone is, what does this mean for the cost structure? When's the ROI going to come in? They're clearly, on the flip side, I think they've seen great ROI from their advertisers. They're hiring, obviously the hire they made today, very high quality individual that got the backing of President Trump. So, that's great to see. And I think advertisers are still really excited about what they're doing. But I think the worry is like, what's next? What are they going to do? Like, what are the new initiatives that they're going to be building out that's going to require this kind of compute? And so the pushback we get is, okay, they're going to spend all this money, they're hiring these great people, but when is the return going to come? What does it look like? And they kind of left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger. The last time they said on their guidance, they said, we don't really know the number, we're going to spend a lot, but we'll come back to you with the specific number. So it's right now, there's a lot of news on both sides. Like if they're laying off people in the Reality Labs division, people like it. If they're hiring the people that they hired today, they like it. Then you've got the other side, the cost structure is worrying. So I'd just say overall, bigger picture, Meta is the most hated name in the internet right now. Google and Amazon are the most loved. And the playbook says you buy the most hated name on sentiment, and it usually works. Remember what happened to Google beginning of last year. Everyone hated it, and the stock had the biggest year-to-date gain. We think Meta right now, it's pretty negative. But I think the bigger picture is like it's very positive what they're doing. When you kind of peel back all these layers, we like what they're doing in the strategy.
Brent, what should investors be listening for within this earnings call? You even called out that $100 billion spend is a little bit worrisome there.
Yeah, I mean, it's largely the spend in CapEx. So where is the spend going to go? How much are they going to spend? Again, they launched this Meta Compute Initiative, and it was kind of like you had to put some your own interpretation, right? So you can argue what a gigawatt takes, but he's saying hundreds of gigawatts, up from tens of gigawatts. So again, at the low end, that's $400 billion of investment. And it could go up to, way higher. And so I think it's just trying to put that in perspective of what they're willing to spend, why they're confident. I think they're so confident in this ROI from the spend now, because remember 4 or 5 years ago, people were like, why are you spending so much? What are you doing with all this money? And look at what they did. They drove, double-digit revenue growth, great margins. They've had incredible return for advertisers. So I think their view is, look, we went through this dance with Wall Street before. We told you we're going to spend. We know where the future is going. Trust us. They're not giving you every detail. So I think it's really on the cost side as well as what's happening in the advertising environment right now. It's been really good. The environment, the macro environment's good. You have some big events that are happening this year, obviously the World Cup and others that will help drive spend to the platform. But I think it's a combination of what's happening on the ad front combined with these big investments in AI, how that pays out, and what's the actual number. Because they said we're gonna tell you more, but we're not gonna give you all the details. We're gonna kind of give you a ballpark range. So we need to tighten up that range. So I'd say number one thing is where are all these dollars flowing in AI?
Brent, I do want to get to another one of your top picks, and that is Microsoft. You've said within your note that you think it's best positioned large cap to capture the broadest AI tailwinds. Walk us through that take.
So Microsoft started the AI push long before anyone in the enterprise. Their CEO declared in the age of AI. And when we look at Microsoft's portfolio, we've said this, that they have the best platform to monetize AI and the biggest landscape to monetize AI of any software company we cover. So if you look at every day, there are billions of people that sit down at their office and engage with the Microsoft Office applications, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel. There's an incredible amount of data that's been built up that needs to get intelligence from that. So they can monetize the application layer. They can monetize their infrastructure layer, which is broadly defined as Azure. They have a security business. They have a custom software build business with Power Apps. They have an off-the-shelf business to build CRM and ERP financial systems to let companies run. They can monetize AI through that. So they have this incredible, landscape where they can go out and they can monetize in so many ways. No one has that exposure from apps to infrastructure to security. And so they have this ability to go in and sell AI throughout those portfolios. The second thing is I think they've been a thought leader. They partnered with OpenAI, obviously, early. They built out a lot of these feature sets. They were the first ones to come out with a Copilot model. They're also releasing their own agents. So I go back to, I think they have a lot of the products. They have a lot of the existing infrastructure. They have one of the best management teams we cover. And in the last 2 years, they've had double-digit revenue growth. They've improved operating margins, even with all the big investments in AI. And we think, again, they have the data, they have the users, they have the capital, and they have the existing frameworks to do this. So there's a lot of vendors that are going to benefit with AI. But I think Microsoft is like one where I just sleep well at night with the quality of that team, the quality of the strategy, and execution has been really, really good.
And Brent will certainly be watching to see if OpenAI does go public this year. Brent, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.